Hey there, everybody. Excited to get a brand new Take Game out. Excited to also put out another show, basically, from ATA, which is always fun. And we got to spend a little bit of time with Jacques DeMoss from Shock Effect Products and just hearing what Jacques does and Shock Effect does for your deer and the deer herd and overall health. And that's always exciting to learn some good stuff. So hope you guys enjoy this show. All right, guys, we're live at ATA 2019 here in Louisville, and I am with Jacques from Shock Effect. What's happening, Jacques?
Oh, how you doing, man? Just enjoying the show.
Good deal, man. Super excited to talk with you, and how is ATA treating you so far?
Man, we're having a great year. We love this show. This is one of our favorite ones to go to, and this year it is really taken off. We've got to meet a lot of customers and talk to a lot of potential customers, a lot of folks in the industry, and we're really, really pleased with how the products are being received and how much interest people have in growing their deer, bigger, healthier
deer. Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of new for you, right? First ATA?
Second.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Last year we went, didn't know what the heck we were doing, and this year I think we're a little better prepared. But we learn a lot, and like I said, this is one of our favorite shows that we go to because everyone here is here for the same reason.
Right.
They're here because they're dedicated to the archery, dedicated to hunting. And so it's nice because you get a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah,
and they come to the booth, and they're really serious about it. They ask really informed questions, and we get to really get the information out there about our products.
Yeah, for sure. So business-wise, what do you feel like you've learned or taken away from the first two experiences at ATA? Just you as a businessman and kind of getting just the run-through on it and your second go-round.
I think I underestimated the buyers. I underestimated the consumers. I think that they know more about nutritional science than I thought they did, that I gave them credit for. And I think I underestimated the level of commitment these people have to improving their herd. And so with that being said, I mean, we've really been well received, really well accepted, and people really want to sit down and learn about the nutritional science. And that's I'm glad that's a really pleasant shock,
Yeah.
And it makes our job a lot easier, and it's nice to see that our products are being well received.
Right,
so.
For sure. I think it's probably what you kind of just alluded to, maybe a shock sometimes is some of the stuff you've heard or from some of the clients coming up to your potential customers just on their knowledge base because, it just seems like 5 years ago we weren't talking about this side of the deer world. We weren't talking about feed and supplementation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, several years ago, I would have never even thought that our products would be interested, in this type of market. We were strictly on the deer farmer and elk farmer, market. I wouldn't even have thought that we, would be well received here. But here we are, flash forward 5 years, and the body of knowledge that's out there and the level of interest that the average consumer has. I mean, it makes me wonder why I waited so long to do this.
To do it, yeah, for sure. Yeah, right. So do you I know you're kind of in the mix as far, and not in the mix, but in the middle, product-wise, about not being in like a Tractor Supply. You're kind of a direct-to-consumer or maybe a smaller mom-and-pop deal.
Right.
So how do you feel that that business model kind of relates more to the customer than just the box store?
Well, I like it because it allows me to have a little bit more of a personal connection with the customer. This is it can be complicated. The feeding program can be complicated, and it's not a one-size-fits-all type of situation. Your property is different than my property. Yours might be bigger. You might have different soil. Your genetics are different.
Right.
So every application is kind of a one-off deal. So with us selling directly to the consumer and keeping our products, focused on the more, regional stores and the mom and pop bow shops and things like that, it allows us to have more of a connection to the consumer, and it allows it makes me more comfortable knowing that they're getting the information to use it correctly. And because if someone buys my product and they don't use it correctly, it doesn't do anything good for them or me.
Yeah, for sure. I know that on this side of things, you're very data-driven, and you track and record a lot of data. Do clients come to you with any type of data like that, and do you kind of put together a game plan, for their services that way?
Yes, yeah. Actually, that's one of the things I love. We have a lot of customers that have a lot of cameras on their property. They really spend a lot of time doing a lot of husbandry in their managing their land, and they will send me growth pictures throughout the cycle. Starting around April or May, they'll send me, look, I got a few inches of of antler, got a little velvet, and then I like it. I'll start getting pictures from customers when the antlers start turning dark colors, and that's unusual because that in the wild you don't see it as much. You'll see it on our product because it's increasing the blood flow to the antler, and so we get to see that. And then they'll continue to send me photos throughout the cycle, and then I'll see end of the season pictures or pictures with them after they've harvested a deer. So that gives me data showing me proof positive that it works and
right.
how it's working for them.
Yeah.
So.
Do you do anything? Maybe this is a very simple question, but do you do anything soil wise from the consumers? Like they bring you a soil test? Does that have anything
Sometimes,
to do? Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes
okay.
a lot
change a mineral plan maybe
yep.
a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. And it depends on the consumer. Some guys are really into that. Some of them aren't. A lot of them already have that analysis done when they call me, and so we can tailor a program for them. Maybe some added nutrients to their feed blend, or maybe up their mineral rate or something like that to adjust. So the more data that a customer comes to me with, the better we can.
The better plan. Yeah, for
exactly.
sure. Yeah, I always think that's interesting. If you come prepared, that especially with this product, it's kind of like if you're mapping out anything, you're just going to get more return out of it.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Sure.
And it's a commitment. You need to get the most out of it. You really need to be prepared to start feeding this in that March, late February, March, into April area, and feed it consistently all the way through the middle to the tail end part of August. And it takes some planning. You can't just throw it together at the last minute. You need to kind of think about it. And but the customers that do that's the ideal customer. The guys who don't stop thinking about deer when the season's over. They think about it year round, and they're planning for next year's hunting now. And so that's the key.
What do you say to somebody that basically like I don't run feed, I don't run supplements, I'm just into my food plot. So what's your answer to that guy?
I mean, on that situation, food plots have obviously benefit. They give some increased protein uptake and some necessary fiber and some minerals and whatnot. But if you're going to go through the effort of doing the food plot, there's just a little extra couple little steps you can do to just bump up that do food plot, okay, but you also need to have a mineral available to them. And I actually recommend that you feed a mineral year round, not just during the season, but year round. But if you're going to go through the effort of a food plot, take that extra step. Do some supplemental feeding. Put out those mineral sites. Things like that. Because any effort you put toward that, you'll reap rewards out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And like the mineral itself is one of those things where the reward is sometimes, I don't want to say just seasonal, but you see more of that return via trail camera, stuff like that.
Yep.
But a lot of guys don't do it all year round because I think they've tried and maybe I don't get my trail camera photos anymore, but that doesn't mean they're not using it.
Right.
And like you've told me before, the deer take in what they need.
Yep. That's
so
right.
That is just something as a consumer you have to remember that they're coming when they need it.
That's right.
And there's certain times of year that just goes up and down.
That's right. And mineral, if you're looking at your supplementation cost, minerals as far across the board is always your cheapest option. So, really, besides the effort it takes to go out there and put it out there, there's no reason not to, and unfortunately, a lot of people misapply mineral. They use it, they always need it, but some guys only use it just during certain parts of the season, or only when they're hunting, or only when they're scouting. But it's it's kind of like a multivitamin. They need it all the time.
Right.
So, and it's also part of what I preach. You really need to consistently feed and consistently supplement your deer with at least mineral, because what it does, it develops a feeding culture for these deer. These deer they learn through instinct that there's always a source of nutrition, always a source of food on that property. And I have customers every year that they feed our program for 1 year, and all of a sudden they start seeing bucks they've never seen before. The second year on the program, suddenly they have deer, higher numbers and deer that they've never caught on camera before. So these deer learn, and they just like they have travel patterns, they have feeding patterns. And if you establish your property as a consistent source of nutrition, they'll come.
Yeah, and I think another thing that guys don't really look at is you can do this for basically the cost of a couple acre food plot.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
you
exactly.
can run your mineral and some feed for what you would put into just a few acres of a seasonal food plot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
So-
and I actually have guys that did food plots, gradually started incorporating our products, our system into it, and after a couple of years, they just gave up on the food plots and just went straight supplemental feed because they were getting the results. And actually, at the end of the day, it's a lot easier to fill a feeder than it is to put out and tend to a food plot. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And I'm not saying one supplants the other, but it really it's just a commitment to a plan and a commitment to be consistent to feed them.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I think that's something we haven't talked about at all. Is there any tips or like maintenance-wise you do to keep those feeders running, keep them maybe clean and basically sanitized, healthy for the deer?
Yeah. I take my feeders down every year, and I usually take them to the car wash and blast them out and get them do any repair to the nozzles or if the legs are all rusted up or we have a big problem with raccoons in Missouri and things
Sure.
like that. So making sure that they're varmint proof and all that, and then I put them right back out and just make sure that they're flowing properly. The nozzles aren't chewed up. Making sure that they're not in a place where squirrels and raccoons can jump down onto them from an overhang
Right,
or
yeah.
things
Or
like
cut
that.
their face
And-
or tongues,
yeah,
I would assume,
yeah,
something in their mouth.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's recommended that you do some maintenance on your feeders every year just to make sure they're still functional.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I know we'll get back to some feed stuff here in a minute, but ATA-wise, man, we had a great dinner last night.
We did.
got tons of stuff going on here today. Plans tonight, maybe the Badlands Film Fest,
Yep.
but I don't know how many of listeners have ever been to ATA, but you work hard during the day and you go out and you kind of party hard afterwards.
It's fun. Like I
It's
said,
fun.
you get
It's
to
a
meet
lot.
a ton of folks. You're on your feet a lot. There's a lot of walking, a lot of handshaking, and things like that. But you get to meet a lot of people, and people that are dedicated to the industry and to hunting, and it's nice because you get everyone's passionate about it. You get to spend your day with a room full of folks that are like-minded, and then
That's
in the
right.
evening time get out and socialize a little, have a few
Yep.
adult beverages, and
Yep,
then
that's
get
right.
up and repeat.
Yep.
So,
I got a guy that networking wise I'm going to bring down after we get done to have him meet you and probably do a quick podcast with him if we got the time. But he's a big user of a competitor, so I just want to bring him down, have him talk to you, and he's one of the best spot and stalk hunters on the planet. But he's really getting into like using some whitetail tactics for mule deer. So like
Gotcha.
ground blinds and some sort of attractant feed. And
Gotcha.
I'm ready for you to talk
be
to him
great.
and kind of blow his mind a little
yeah,
bit.
that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. But I know that throughout the year we're going to talk quite a bit more, and I kind of want to go, every little bit with you throughout the year to kind of give updates on like what us as a consumer should be doing, and just kind of excited to bring that to everybody this year.
Yeah, and I think we're going to start putting out some product spotlights through our social media on the Shock Effect channel as well, and kind of showing people maybe just little snippets about each individual product and how they're used and when and why and whatnot, and kind of help people kind of understand the process and make an informed decision as to whether it's for them, and if it is how they can implement it into their program.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know that you're busy. You want the booth back probably, but as always fun to talk with Jacques and kind of get some insight. And I just appreciate as much time as I've been in the booth already, how much I've freaking learned. It just kind of blows my mind what is involved with this and actually how much time and effort you put into it. And if you're really into deer hunting, the coolest part of that is being able to have a deer that you may have known for 3 or 4 years, and all of a sudden you're running a product like Shock Effect, and he went from a decent score, and if you ask me, 30 inches is huge, and if that's capable, I mean, that's one of I think the coolest things a customer and a product kind of relationship can have is something like that. And it's
I love it. A guy walked up very first thing yesterday when we got here and had his phone already out and was just dialing through photo after photo after photo. He's like, look at this deer. This is before he was on your product. Look at this deer now. You know,
Yeah.
Look at what he looked like when I harvested him. And this dude was pumped. And so it's hard not to. You can't not be excited about that. When someone comes up to you and just really singing the praises of what you're doing, it makes it worth it.
Yeah. No, I think it's so cool because it's just a whole new side to the hobby we love so much. It just gives a new twist to it, and excited to be a part of it and actually hear some of those stories from some of your clients as well, because it's almost unbelievable.
I know.
It really is.
I had to pinch myself. Like I said, I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. These guys just keep coming and keep telling the good story. So it keeps me motivated to keep pushing our product and then developing new products as well. So,
yeah, for sure.
I appreciate you coming by. Like
yeah,
I said,
absolutely.
We always enjoy having you here, and I appreciate you getting the word out about our product.
Yeah, I can't wait to do more with you and keep doing that. And as always, Jacques, let everybody know real quick where they can find you or contact you.
Yep, you can go to our website. It's www.shockeffectwhitetail.com. We also have a Shock Effect free range deer page on Facebook, and then we have shock_effect_products on Instagram.
All right. Well, that's it, guys. Live from ATA. Jacques, enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you for coming.
All right, man.